respect for the independence and national interests of each state. These principles are true and unwavering to this day. It is on them that the activities of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are being built, uniting like-minded people who are committed to the idea of building a just, multi-layered order. A solid package of documents has been prepared for today's meeting of the Council of Heads of State. The main document, the Tianjin Declaration, reflects the agreed approaches of the participants on the key issues of the global and regional agenda. Of course, I would also like to note today the development strategy of the Cooperation Organization until 2035, which outlines the main areas of activity of the Shanghai Organization in politics, economy, security, and the humanitarian sphere. The pace of cooperation within the Cooperation Organization is really impressive. For example, the average growth of shale domestic product in the member states last year was more than 5%, and industrial production was 4.6%. Income growth and cross-border trade are all above the world standards. National currencies are increasingly being used in mutual accounts. We support the issuance of joint bonds to the member states, the creation of our own payment, accounting and depository infrastructure in the shale, and the formation of a joint investment bank. All this will increase the efficiency of our economic exchanges and protect them from external fluctuations. Within the framework of the shale, a sophisticated and competitive transport infrastructure is being built in succession. The volume of automobile, railway, and multimodal transport is growing. Closed customs interaction has been established. Electronic document of turnover is being actively introduced. The strategy of energy cooperation up to 2030, which we approved last year, is being implemented in full swing. The roadmap adopted today in its development is aimed at conducting a coordinated and balanced policy in the field of energy in the entire space of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. As many colleagues have already noted, the links between the participants of the organization in the field of science and education, health and the environment, sports and youth exchanges are expanding. The University of Shenzhen, which brings together 77 universities from our states, is working successfully. Regular forums of rectors of universities are held. The dialogue between students, postgraduates, and teachers is being activated. Colleagues, our organization is consistently increasing its influence in the solution of current international issues. It is a powerful locomotive for the processes of global development and the assertion of true multilateralism. And, of course, SHOs is making a tangible contribution to strengthening the atmosphere of cooperation and mutual trust across the Eurasian continent, thereby helping to lay political and socio-economic preconditions for the formation of a new system of stability, security, and peaceful development in Eurasia. A system that would replace the revived Eurocentric and Euro-Atlantic models and would take into account the interests of the widest possible range of countries. It would be truly balanced. This means that it would not allow attempts by some states to ensure their security at the expense of the security of others. Taking this opportunity, I would like to say that the Russian side adheres to similar approaches to the crisis around Ukraine. Let me remind you that this crisis did not arise as a result of Russia's attack on Ukraine, but as a result of the coup d'etat in Ukraine, which was supported and provoked by the West, and then attempts by the armed forces to suppress the resistance of those regions of Ukraine and those people in Ukraine who did not accept and support this coup. The second reason for the crisis is the constant attempts by the West to draw Ukraine into NATO, which, as we have repeatedly stressed and said, has been a direct threat to Russia's security for many years. By the way, as a result of the coup d'etat in Ukraine in 2014, the political leadership of the country that did not support Ukraine's entry into NATO was eliminated. In this regard, we appreciate the efforts and proposals of China, India, and other of our strategic partners, which are designed to assist in the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. I would like to note that the understanding we have gained at the recent Russian-American meeting in the Alaskan Highlands, I hope, is also in this direction, opening the way to peace in Ukraine. During the scheduled two-way meetings today and tomorrow, I will certainly inform my colleagues in more detail about the results of the talks in Alaska. By the way, yesterday, during lunch, which our hosts arranged for the participants of our meetings within the framework of the SCOs, we talked about this with President Xi Jinping. This work has begun, and I informed him in detail about what we have achieved during the talks with the President of the United States. And, of course, in order for the Ukrainian settlement to have a stable and long-term nature, the primary causes of the crisis, which I have just mentioned and which I have spoken about more than once before, must be eliminated. A fair balance in the security sphere has been restored. Of course, one of the priority tasks of the SCOs is to maintain stability in the participating countries and along the perimeter of foreign borders. Russia supports the program of countering extremism by 2030, prepared for our meeting, and is ready to get involved in the implementation of this document. We also consider it extremely important to sign today an agreement on the establishment of a SCO's Universal Center in Tashkent, which will respond to the entire range of modern challenges and threats, and on the opening of a separate anti-drug center in Dushanbe. We expect these centers to start working as soon as possible. To conclude, I would like to thank my Chinese friends for the very successful meeting of the heads of the United States. I am sure that the issues of the agreements reached here in Tianjin will be subjectively considered at the meeting of the SCO's Government Council, which, as agreed, will take place in November in Moscow. We will be glad to see the delegations of all your countries, dear friends. Naturally, I wish the President of Kyrgyzstan, Sadr Nurgaziyevich Japarov, and his Kyrgyz colleagues success, who will take over the functions of the presidency of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization after today's summit. Thank you for your attention.